That is done, we start installing the second line of electricals.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the President. That will have the opportunity to receive is Namu, a private commercial bus transport company. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Namu. Now, Makerere University. Big round of applause for Makerere University. And now he's currently holding the model bus, the model Toyota coach that is manufactured here in Kiira Motors.
Your Excellency, that is a soursop-rich cafe leaf. It has several health benefits, but it's also fruit-free, and it does very well here. It's a very commemorative. Obugalo.
Immediately we'll have our chief guest settled in. We'll ask for the anthems, and our team should be on standby for the anthems as we receive His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, you're most welcome, Your Excellency.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain on your feet as we receive our guest of honor, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Again, we shall immediately go into the national anthem, followed by the...
You reminded us on that day that that was a defining moment for the continent, if not for anything, for the reason that it demonstrated that once talent is supported and led very well, we can do anything that we set our hearts to. The Kiira vehicle plant that you've commissioned today has evolved from what started as an extracurricular activity, and with the support right from Your Excellency the President, the government through the different ministries, departments, and agencies, and the community of young people, with our professor providing leadership, we've been able to realize an iconic ingredient of the industrial growth that we prospect and we see as a key contributor to the tenfold growth strategy of the nation today. Your Excellency, back then, about 1.5 decades ago, you gave us 4 assignments. You tasked us to build the product. And today, we have been able to witness you hand over buses to clients. The product is on the market, and the product is attracting attention across the continent. And we are grateful for that confidence in us.
Socio-economic transformation. And since then, that became our driving mirror. That has become the guide all the time, every day. Are we transforming the economy? Are we creating things which are going to yield to your vision? And Your Excellency, on June 15th, 2023, while giving your speech at the budget, you concretized that for us when you said the next stage, which is going to be knowledge-led, was going to lead us to the qualitative leap. And since then, that has guided us, and we work to follow your vision. We listen to you intently. We study your speeches, State of the Nation, to make sure that we are on course. And Your Excellency, today, we invited you to come, not only to commission, but also to receive your guidance on what should we do next. You gave me 8 industrial value chains, and this is just one. And across the other ones, there are lots of things happening, which we hope to invite you to launch maybe in the next Chisanja. But all of them are following this kind of magnitude.
Protocol tugamba nti abaali baseka the big crisis in Africa is the understanding, has been the understanding for a very long time of political economy. This is what built the NRA. Political economy is the study of the laws that govern the evolution of society. Society has been here, human being has been here on earth for the last 4.5 million years. But because of colonial indoctrination, you find these academicians don't know much about political economy. When we came from the bush, I tried to introduce it, but they messed it up. They distorted it. They started creating what they call development studies, something totally different. Now, because the National Resistance Army and the student groups of the 1960s were very clear about this. That's why we never get diverted. And you remember when we came from the bush, we had the 10-point program. And point number 5 was talking of building an economy which is independent, integrated, and self-sustaining. And integration meant 2 things, two dimensions. There will be the vertical integration, but also the horizontal integration. Now, the crisis, Uganda's economy is growing and transforming. We are now going to grow at 7% this financial year. With our oil, we are going to grow above 10%. There's nothing that will stop us, because we are clear about what is required to transform society. Now here, the vertical integration here is still partial. Because what we have now is that we have got skilled scientists who are using imported steel. Because this steel we are using here, we are still importing it. What Museveni was showing us, the tubes, then the sheets which are used to build the bus are still being imported. But soon, with our iron ore, we shall be able to, we have got some steel factories. We have got some steel factories using scrap. But scrap is not good enough for this type of work. Therefore, it is the new factories we are building. I think we are going to even commission one ground on the 18th of October. With the presidents of East Africa, they will come in Tororo, so that we start purifying our iron ore, processing our iron ore into the high quality steel, which is what they need here, so that we don't, because the steel imports alone in Uganda are $900 million. You can imagine all that money going out. It is as if the country has no leaders or planners. And you have got planners, commissioner of I don't know what. What are you commissioning? You are commissioning hemorrhage. There is a disease in the Bible which Jesus talked about. The Banyankole call it a kejuiso. Hemorrhage, when somebody is bleeding, you don't stop. So $900 million is going out to import steel. We have got the best iron ore in the world in Kabale and in the Togota area. So why should this happen like that? Now, so the vertical integration, you had Museveni telling you about the batteries. Because these electric vehicles, all these areas, in Tungamo and so on. So we are also going to work on that. So what has happened here is some partial vertical integration, where you have the imported steel using our skilled labor and our electricity to produce these vehicles. This is the beginning. But what is already taking place is the horizontal linkage. Because we have been having transport. Transport is a sector. In Tambula, transport for human beings, for cargo. It's a whole sector. Consuming a lot of money. But all of it not integrated with the economy of Uganda. Integrated with Japan, integrated with other people. So for the first time, the transport sector is beginning to be integrated with the industries of Uganda in the form of Kiira vehicle plant. Now, once and then it will go into other sectors, because transport is one sector. Then you have education, you have tourism, linkage from ground to up and horizontally. This is what is beginning to happen here. If we do it successfully, we shall save $800 million for steel alone. Because Mr. told you that we are spending $800 million for vehicles imported from outside. Now, this is in addition to the $900 million for steel, because some of the steel is not for vehicles, it is for other things. So you can imagine, all the money we get from coffee goes back. So therefore, it is really a disaster to see what's happening in Africa. You find people are just talking about this, they don't talk about this huge hemorrhage. I've not heard anybody talking about it. The newspapers, this so-called media. What are you talking about? You don't talk about your future, how you can survive. I have not heard anybody talking about the hemorrhage. Hemorrhage. This is the biggest problem of Africa. Now you can imagine the jobs you are talking about. Those young people whom I found there in the factory, those have jobs now. They are all engineers. Where would they be working if we didn't have Kiira now? Where? And you have people calling themselves leaders, calling themselves planners, commissioner of backwardness. It's really so sad. You feel so, and then they are being pampered and flattered by the imperialists because they see they don't know what they are doing, and they will be used to sack our country. So therefore, here has already happened in some of the sectors, like if you take the sector of the milk sector, because this is where I started, from the Rukora there. Because you can imagine, in 1952, when I started walking to the trading center of Tungamo from our home, I started seeing in the shops of the Indians small tins of tinned milk. It was called condensed milk from New Zealand in Tungamo. You know, they were buying tinned milk from New Zealand. And 2 miles away, our kraal, we had milk. But our milk could not go into the factory. So when we started our student movement, one of our first things we did in that area of the cattle corridor was to modernize the dairy industry. And when we came from the bush from 1989, we introduced milk coolers. Now the whole sector is vertically integrated from the farm to the table. But also the horizontal, because like now, apart from we are now exporting to the United States a protein called casein. Casein is a protein from milk, which apparently is used in medicine and things like that. So therefore, what you are witnessing here is the partial, not total. We are beginning implementation of the integration, vertically but also horizontally. Now, if you look at the milk industry, what milk are the people drinking in the hotels? It is the Ugandan milk, Ugandan butter. So which means the dairy industry is now linked with the tourism industry. What will be the point of bringing tourists? And when they arrive here, they are drinking milk from New Zealand. All the money the tourists have brought goes back. When we came from the bush, there was something called Uganda Dairy Corporation. That dairy corporation, they would get powdered milk from Denmark and put in water of Lake Victoria here and stamp it Uganda Dairy Corporation. This is really amazing. And they didn't see anything wrong with that. So when I told them, I said, no, these Banyankore, who have been keeping cattle for the last 7,000 years, they can produce milk for Uganda. Somebody said they can't manage. Those are producing milk for drinking in their kraals. They cannot produce milk for industry. I said they can. So this is the big battle we have been having. What Museveni is talking about, lack of confidence developed. I can see some of our generals, like General Mugume there. When we were fighting, I went to Nairobi, I went to Europe, and some people came to see me. They said, you know, what we should do is to hire Israelis to kill Idi Amin. I said, but if you want to kill Idi Amin, why don't we kill him for you? that Israelis should be the ones to be hired. You can't believe it. These are educated people putting on ties. What? It's really like a sickness. So I told those people, I said, first of all, we don't believe in assassinations. We shall remove Idi Amin, lock, stock, and barrel, uproot him completely. That's what we are working for. Not kill Idi Amin, and then you get Maria Mungu coming up. But secondly, if we want to do anything, we shall do it ourselves. So therefore, I'm very glad that, because the people I must congratulate Paul Musasizi in particular. Because the small something there, which I found, the Kasumoro one, looking like a teen. Karingaka Kevi. I found it there at Makere. It is the one which, of course, I was already thinking about all that, but I was very happy to see that one of our young scientists had actually moved. And it is from there that we started funding them. That's where we are now here. Now, regarding the future, I don't see any problem. That $143 million, we shall get it for sure. And we shall also start planning for, because that one will deal with the expansion and completing this one here. Musasi told me that will enable us to produce 10,000 vehicles a year, because what you have now will produce 2,500. So with the 143 million, we shall be able to produce 10,000. But we need to start on the lithium batteries, because Musasi has told me that lithium battery takes about 60% of the cost of the vehicle. So in order to get all our money here, we must resolve the issue of the lithium batteries made here. I'm talking with a number of investors. They are coming, actually. They are coming in big numbers. We may not even have to use government money only. The investors can bring their own money and share with us. I congratulate everybody. I congratulate you Ugandans for gaining your confidence and standing on your own. As you have seen, these few steps we have taken, our economy is very stable. The shilling is gaining always against the dollar. You can see it. The shilling is not losing value. Why? Yes, we are still importing, but not too much. You can imagine some of the countries import food. They don't have food. And you remember the other time when there was a war in Ukraine, people were crying. So, what shall we eat? I said, what's the problem? Because there will be no wheat from Ukraine and from Russia. I said, what happened to muhogo? Don't you know muhogo? Why don't you eat muhogo? It's like a sickness. You have millet. Millet is much better than this wheat you're talking about. But they don't call it food. They think that wheat is the food. But what day? So that's why our currency is now stable, because we are still importing unnecessarily, but we are not as bad off as other countries. And Museveni is telling you about the drugs which our people have discovered from our traditions. They have actually found a cure for diabetes, complete cure. They found a cure for cancer. There is also a cure for malaria. So therefore, your country will, you the scientists, please wake up and dig more into our heritage, into the practices of your parents. They are all scientifically based. Amos Kaguta was a scientist. I've been telling some of my scientists, because Amos Kaguta and his colleagues, his group, he had a number of tools they were using. But one of them was called Ombunduru. Ombunduru was something they would use to brand, I think you call it branding, to apply heat to the cow. And you could see that they had the basics of science very clearly, because the mbundur proper would be iron or steel or whatever, a choma, but it would have a wooden handle. You can see the principles of science. The iron is a high conductor of heat, but the wood is a poor conductor of heat. So Mr. Kaguta would put the mbundur in the fire to go red hot, but use the handle to hold the handle, to handle the red hot and apply it on the cow. Science, this is science. Material science. This is material science. Which material is a conductor of heat, which is a bad conductor of heat, this is what science is about. But part of the problem, part of the inferiority complex, is that many of the people don't even understand the basics of science. They are mystified. They're mystified. They are not able to tell materials science and how it is affected by electronics, even the AI they are talking about. It is the same process. To get the materials which can do what, which can do what, which can do this, do the other one. So we need a real awakening and confidence to know that we have been a science society for a long time. The way our people make beer, this is science. Fermentation, how to make the bananas ripen in the ruina. It's called a ruina, where they bury the bananas for some 4 days, then they ripen, then come and get the juice. Some of the science people don't even know about it up to today. You hear these people, these ignorant foreigners, talking of tomato juice. I tell them, how can tomato have a juice? Tomato is a vegetable. So what they do, they okshuma. They don't even have words. I want to learn the Banyankore words. When you get tomatoes and you okshuma, you mash them, and then you put water and you call that juice. This is not juice. Juice is from bananas. I don't know whether the scientists there can tell us the biochemistry which happens when you... Can somebody tell us the biochemistry of juice, converting amenvu into juice? Does somebody know that biochemistry? Museveni's groups. We have not bothered to study it. Museveni herself wants to help us. You come and help us. The biochemistry, this is very... When I was in Dar es Salaam, fighting Yamin, Mama Janet showed those... They didn't know in Tanzania how to make banana juice. And she showed them how to make it with her hands in the sufuria. And they were saying, hawa Ghana kama wazungu. What is the biochemistry of converting amenvu into juice?
Your Excellency, the bananas have sugars, they have the carbohydrate.
You need that awakening to know that what is science, essentially the learning how to use the laws of nature to solve human problems. Much of the science is from natural laws, which if they are understood, they would be used. Gravity, pressure, light, these are all natural laws of nature. So I want to congratulate the Makerere University, because this is where Musasi and others started. Then I want to congratulate Kiira Motors. And I want to congratulate the Enterprise Corporation, National Enterprise Corporation, because you are all now showing that you can do it. This is the lack of confidence barrier which you are now breaking. I think everybody will now be confident that it can be done, and you can do it, and you have the capacity. So I congratulate you, and I wish you good luck.